the late 2000s, and the windows are open, and my wife Nancy and I are enjoying a beautiful, quiet summer evening until we hear these sickening, guttural noises coming from outside. Several years earlier, Nancy, who is youngest of 10 from Ohio, is back in Ohio visiting, and she calls me back in California to check in, and we're chatting, and she tells me about a dream she had the night before. So in the dream, she's out on a rowboat on Lake Erie, and she finds and rescues this cute little orange tabby kitten. And we continue the call, eventually go on about our merry way, and she completely forgets about the dream and the cute little orange tabby kitten. That is until later that afternoon when she finds an actual cute little orange tabby kitten wandering the actual shores of Lake Erie. For real. So she scoops him up, and she tries to find his owner, and she goes door to door, and she talks to some businesses, and to no avail. So a week later, Bucky, named after Ohio, the Buckeye state, is flying with her back to California to live with us. Now, Nancy loves California, but it's hard to be away from home and be away from your family, and so he's our cute little cuddly reminder of our Ohio family. And he just becomes our best boy. He is a regal, elegant creature who loves and is loved by everyone. And he sits in the driveway and he greets passersby. He goes on stroller rides around the block, and he goes on sleepovers at the neighbors. He helps neighborhood kids with their homework, and he does light home repair for senior citizens. Now, I am exaggerating. He actually hates the stroller rides. And upon first meeting our big, goofy chocolate lab, he promptly whacks him in the nose, and that is the one conflict they ever have. He is very good at setting boundaries. And then comes that fateful night. We hear these sickening guttural noises coming from outside, and we run out to find this violent ball of fur and mayhem tumbling in the street, and I am frantic, and we can't tell who or what it is, and then it tumbles underneath a parked car, and the noises are horrific, and I'm heartsick and heartbroken. And then a stranger comes running up. I've never seen this person, and she's out of breath, and she says, I'm so sorry, he escaped, I couldn't catch him. And we continue to hear these sickening noises coming from under the car. But then, like some sort of conflict resolution ninja, Nancy blindly reaches under the car and into the fray and pulls out a muscly little Jack Russell Terrier and holds him up by the scruff, and she says, "Here's your dog." And then we see the shadow run out from under the car toward our garage. So we exchange contact information with the stranger. And then I go look for my boy. And I'm petrified that he may be suffering. I find him cowering in a corner in the garage, and I don't know if he's alive. What I do is I get his cat carrier, and with one hand I move the opening toward him, and with the other hand I gently as possible, I scoop him into the carrier. And my hand is warm and wet and covered in blood. Amazingly, we are just 5 minutes from world-class veterinary care because I live in Davis, not very far from the UC Davis Veterinary Medicine School. So I put him in the car, and I rush him over there, and I put him up on the counter, and I explain what happened, and I give them permission to euthanize him. And then I wait. An hour goes by, 2 hours go by, and they give me some cryptic updates. He's still hanging on. We're doing everything we can. And I sit there and I'm just heartbroken. I love this cat. Well, around about midnight, the doctor comes out, She puts the carrier on the counter. My heart sinks. She says, well, he didn't have a scratch on him. And I am stunned. She says, we did a very thorough examination and we cleaned him up and he's got a few bruises and he's definitely had a fright, but he's gonna be okay. And I step up and I peer into the window, his little door, and I'm just amazed by his courage and his tenacity. And once again, I marvel at his ability to set boundaries. Thank you.
One more time for John.